After NXT really delivered with their takeover show last week, I was really looking forward to this week's edition of NXT to see where NXT were going to go from there. Was the show going to live up, and was it going to be able to continue the trend of, what I thought was incredibly good 2 hours of wrestling last week? And to be honest with you, the show was a bit of a mixed bag in my opinion, and I'll go into my reasons as I go throughout the review, but this was by no means a perfect show in my opinion. If you have any thoughts on the show or anything NXT in general, please put them down in that comment section below, and let's get on with this show. So fresh off of getting no offense in against Alexander Rusev on the NXT TakeOver show last Thursday, we open up with resident NXT opener Mojo Rawley as he faced off with the artiste, Aiden English. I still think that they should probably say his name in a real French tone, just to be ironic. I like the Mojo Rawley character. I have no problems with the character, but there's a couple of things I really want to address here with regards to the character and how I feel it could be improved. If a guy comes to the ring saying, I don't get hyped, I stay hyped, then surely the first thing he would do in a match if he's staying hyped and getting hyped would be to have a flurry of offense on the heel at the start and maybe then get beaten down, or maybe get heel tactics on him and then get beaten down. Not get beaten down straight away and have that like that throughout the whole match. I just think it kind of goes against his character a little bit. And also, you can't really give yourself a good character unless you have a very pleasing finisher, unless you have a finisher that you believe can finish a match. And I don't know about you, but sitting on a guy with your ass on his chest doesn't really feel like the kind of thing that can pin a guy 1, 2, 3. Especially in this day's era of wrestling where finishers really seem to have quite big impacts. And, a lot of characters, a lot of good characters have great finishers that we all remember. I'm definitely going to remember the Hyperdrive finisher, but not in a good way. That's all I'll say. So there's a couple of things there I really think they could tweak on the Mojo Rawley character just to really take it up to another level, in my opinion. It was one of those opening segments where if you're not into Mojo Rawley, you probably didn't like the segment, you probably tuned out a little bit. But if you're kind of into Mojo Rawley like I am, you were into the segment. It was just one of those openers. Now I really want to see where they're going to go with Alexander Rusev and Mojo Rawley, because I do think this is a feud or even a match at some point that I would quite like to see, just to see if Mojo Rawley can get in any offense in on the Bulgarian Brutes. So fresh off of defeating Natalya for the vacant NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver last week, in what was, in my opinion, the definite match of the night, we had Charlotte facing off with Bayley, the new champion, of course, on this week's edition of NXT. I didn't mind these two facing off necessarily. I just wish that this match maybe would have felt like a bit bigger match, or would have been saved for a bigger show or a bigger spot on the card or something. Especially after their history they had with Charlotte, with Charlotte moving away from Bayley and, stopping being her friend and moving over to the BFFs, which essentially has gotten her, this NXT Women's Championship and essentially made her the top heel on the show, and the fact that these two still haven't properly faced off. I thought there was a little bit of room there maybe for a good amount of storytelling, maybe have Bayley as the next challenger or something, and, really build the match from there. But, they wanted to follow up the NXT TakeOver match with a match, such as Charlotte versus Bayley. I don't mind it too much. I just wish they would have saved this for some kind of a bigger show. This was kind of a surprising segment in the sense that Summer Rae made her return. I wasn't really expecting this. This is kind of interesting to me because obviously things have changed a little bit since Summer Rae went off and did her movie and was on the WWE roster, etc. And you got Summer Rae, who's glad there to be back in the BFFs, and she's congratulating Charlotte, etc. But at the same time, for a fact that Charlotte and Sasha Banks have moved on from Summer Rae and they don't want her in the group. So that should cause some tension between those three there, especially seeing as now it seems like Summer Rae is going to be a babyface, so you'd imagine at some point down the line she was kind of acting a little bit babyface here, so you'd imagine that Charlotte and Sasha would tell her to fuck off or something like that. I don't know, as that will make her babyface. In this segment we had the heels beat down on Bayley, Emma and Paige make the save, so I guess maybe next week a main event or something. It would be good if this does main event. Maybe we'll get a 6-woman tag. I guess that's kind of what they're teasing here. But a couple of questions though. I thought Paige was stripped of the NXT Women's Championship because she couldn't be in NXT and WWE at the same time. Yet she's been consistently appearing in NXT. So why, if she could appear in NXT, why not just have Charlotte beat Paige for the belt? It would have made a lot more sense at the time. Also, why why not take the opportunity to try and do something different here, rather than having Charlotte have a match of some kind? You know, I understand you may have wanted to do some booking in the sense that you wanted to continue on this six-woman tag, excuse me, etc. But why not maybe have a segment of some kind, you know, where it's all about Charlotte? Because this segment didn't really feel about Charlotte at all. You know, it was more really about, you know, Paige and Emma and Summer Rae, in my opinion, really more than Charlotte. You really wanted the spotlight here to be all on Charlotte, which could have been very well accomplished with some kind of, you know, championship ceremony segment or something. I don't know. Just something a little bit different other than a match, you know. But, you know, overall, I mean, the match itself was solid. I'm not complaining about that. When Summer Rae came out, I kind of had a feeling that Bayley might get the win, but Charlotte got the win here, which was, you know, perfectly fine after she got the win over Natalya for the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver. I don't really have too many issues with this segment. You know, I just, sometimes, you know, Paige being stripped of the belt even though she's on the show, and, you know, I just think sometimes maybe NXT, and I know they're writing this show right after the NXT TakeOver show, but could we not have thought of something a little bit different other than a match, you know, to try and spotlight Charlotte a little bit? So on NXT, we have this new tag team, Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger. They've won a couple of matches already, but they've got to spotlight these guys, really. You know, if you want to spotlight this new tag team, two things you don't do, and that is, don't give them backstage promos like the one you gave them, which really just felt awkward, and I was like, Also, don't have them take more than 3 minutes to beat a jobber tag team. You know, they faced a jobber tag team, and it seems it took them an age just to defeat a jobber tag team, which isn't the best way of spotlighting these two guys. You know, I'm fine with new tag teams. I'm fine with Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger being together. But NXT, make me care about these guys, just like you did with the Wyatt family, just like you did with the Ascension and some other tag teams that you've had on this show. You're not really doing that with Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger right now, to the point where I could buy them as, you know, next NXT Tag Team Champions or something. You know, I'm just saying. I guess the big question now in the NXT Tag Team division is, you know, when the hell are the Ascension going to be brought up to the main roster? They've been teasing it on their Twitter page, and it really does feel like it's getting to that point in time. You know, the Rhodes brothers are broken up, etc. I don't think the Wyatt family will really have too much to do with the NXT Tag Team Championship, so they'll really be moving on to bigger things, in my opinion. You know, the question is now, when the Ascension are going to debut on Raw or SmackDown and possibly go after the WWE Tag Team Champions, especially after they had a pretty good program a year or so back with the Usos on NXT. You know, the Usos now are currently the NXT Tag Team Champions. Not to forget, they had that six-man tag on NXT a couple of weeks ago involving Sami Zayn and Corey Graves, where these six face off, and I was really interested in the Ascension and the Usos facing off. So when are they going to debut in WWE? They've got nothing else to do in NXT now, so you may as well bring them up to WWE, the main roster, and see what the fuck they can do, because the tag team division needs it. The segment of the night, in my opinion, was, of course, the segment involving Tyler Breeze and his new music video. You know, this is more like it, NXT. You want to make a character stand out. You want to make people care about a character. Granted, people already probably care about Tyler Breeze, but this segment right here is something different that makes the character stand out. And they really need to do this with more characters in NXT, in my opinion. Instead of just half-assing the character, go all the way with these characters. You know, they had Tyler Breeze make a music video. And at the beginning of it, it said in quote marks, "Dedicated to my fans, even the Uggos." You know, again, this made me laugh. Written, directed, and produced, etc. by Tyler Breeze. You know, I was laughing my ass off during this promo segment that he had. And then, you know, the music video, like I said, something that makes him stand out from the rest of the fucking roster, which is something that a lot of wrestlers, in my opinion, on NXT struggle with. You know, so we got a backstage look into Tyler Breeze. You know, I believe it was the music video. I wasn't sure whether it was a backstage look, but I believe that was a music video for his new song. And then afterwards, he started crying in the ring. You know, I just thought this was hilarious. And definitely the segment of the night. Definitely the best character-enhancing segment of the night, in my opinion. So we got a send-off video tribute for the great Bo Dallas, showing his post-match dark promo segment that he had after getting defeated by Big E Langston the day before he debuted on the UK edition of SmackDown. And all I can say to Bo Dallas is, Bo, leave! Bo, leave! Bo, leave! Fact! This main event segment. Yeah, Adrian Neville versus Justin Gabriel in a no DQ match for the NXT Championship. I believe that's what NXT's Twitter account said this was. Okay, a couple of questions. Why Justin Gabriel? What has he done to deserve a title shot? Why was this match a no DQ when it only went 7 minutes and there were no elements of no DQ in there? Why was this for the title? Why did you not mention that maybe Gabriel and Kidd were once tag team partners and, you know, he's gone through, you know, Tyson Kidd, now he's going to go through Justin Gabriel in this match, you know. So many questions here as to what the fuck. Why did they, if they were going to do this match, just have this be a singles match, not for the title, without any no DQ stipulations or anything, and just have Adrian Neville beat Justin Gabriel in a nice, simple 10-minute match, you know. That would have been fine, in my opinion. I don't know why they had to go through all this no DQ NXT Championship stuff with Adrian Neville and Justin Gabriel. I just don't understand why they needed to do that. It was pointless, in my opinion. You know, and after the match, you get Tyson Kidd coming out. You know, gotta love the fans for chanting "fact" after every single sentence he made. Kind of like they used to chant "what" after every single sentence, like an R-Truth used to make and stuff. And I was really interested in what they were going to do with Tyson Kidd after the way they, you know, had him react at the end of the Adrian Neville match, and then in the post takeover, you know, thing they did, they had him react quite badly to Natalya and Paul Heyman's, you know, questions about, you know, what happened in the match, etc., and wins and losses mattering, etc. And he just, you know, he basically goes in there, he revokes everything he did at TakeOver, says that, you know, the fans should be chanting that because he was a fool, and he wants one more chance at the NXT Championship, and then Adrian Neville agrees. Man, what a really lame way to end this show. I'm not going to lie. Just, this whole thing just felt like a really lame way to end the show and enhance Tyson Kidd's character, which was something different for him, which was something that I thought could be quite interesting for Tyson Kidd. And now it's just like they've gone back to his old character, and, like, why? I don't understand. What, especially, also, I guess if by NXT logic, if Gabriel can get a shot at the title for no fucking reason, then Tyson Kidd can get a shot at the title just because he asks the champion and he agrees. You know, it really, in my opinion, makes title shots feel very undervalued when they do stuff like this. You consider the fact that they essentially had to go through a battle royal and then a triple threat match, to determine the number one contender, which was Tyson Kidd. They had to go through 2 matches, one of which was a battle royal. For the first ever NXT Championship, they had to go through a tournament which involved 3 matches, essentially, getting to the final and winning. And now Tyson Kidd just asked for a championship and Neville agrees to it, and it's on. You know, this whole main event, don't know. Blah. So like I said at the start, this show, in my opinion, was a very mixed bag. You know, the opening segment really just depends on whether you like or enjoy the Mojo Rawley character. You know, Summer Rae returning to the show was pretty surprising. You know, and this whole 6-woman tag that they're potentially teasing is pretty good in my opinion. I didn't think they did a very good job of highlighting this Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger team. I mean, they don't really have a tag team name yet. Maybe I missed something. You know, my stream was playing up a little bit. Tyler Bree's segment was fantastic in my opinion. A great way of differentiating the character, which NXT needs to do a lot more of in my opinion. And the main event segment, like I said, I just have to shrug my shoulders at it and say, you know, what the fuck? That's all I can say about that. Although Tyson Kidd and Adrian Neville will of course be a good match. It's just, I was really more interested in where they were going to go with the Tyson Kidd character, and it's just like they've kind of just done a 180 now and just gone back. It's kind of what it seems like to me. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'll let this play out and just see where they go. They'll obviously have a good match and everything like that, but, you know, the second match that anyone has never feels really as big as the first match. You know, like Rock and Cena. The first match was kind of a spectacle, and the second match was just kind of like, well, we don't really want to see it again. But of course, you know, that's not necessarily the case with Tyson Kidd and Adrian Neville. It just won't be as good, in my opinion, as the first match. It doesn't really have a chance. Then again, it won't be on a big show, in my opinion. Although Tyler Breeze did mention that he'll probably wait a little bit of time before cashing in that number one contendership. So I do wonder if the main event to the next big show they're going to do is going to be Tyler Breeze versus Adrian Neville, or whether or not they're going to do that actually on an NXT show at some point down the line. You know, who really knows? So anyway, if you have any comments on this show, I've already rambled on too long now. If you have any thoughts on this show, please let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this review of NXT, and see you same time next Thursday. Goodbye.